437 contacts. I couldn't think of a single name. I had a bad week once. Nothing dramatic, nothing happened. Just the kind of week where everything felt heavy, and I needed to talk to someone. So I opened my phone, scrolled, and scrolled. Not them, not really, not for this. I put the phone down, and I sat there thinking, how is this possible? How do I know this many people and feel this alone? That question stayed with me for months, and then I started looking into it because I didn't want to believe it was just me. Turns out, it isn't. And the reason is one of the most fascinating things I've ever learned about the human brain. Here's what I found first. There's a scientist named Robin Dunbar, evolutionary anthropologist, Oxford. And in the early 1990s, he was trying to answer a very different question. Why is the human brain so big? The traditional answer was tools, problem solving, survival. Big brain equals smarter hunter. Dunbar looked at the data and said, actually, no. He compared neocortex size to average group size across dozens of primate species, and what he found was a near-perfect correlation. The bigger the neocortex, the bigger the social group the species could sustain. Not the habitat, not the food supply, the social group. The brain didn't get big to solve environmental problems. It got big to keep track of people. This is called the social brain hypothesis, and the idea is this. Living in a complex social group is cognitively expensive. You have to remember who is allied with whom, who owes who a favor, who can be trusted, who said what to whom last Tuesday. For primates, tracking all of that takes enormous mental bandwidth. So, as groups got larger, brains got bigger to keep up. When Dunbar applied this to the human neocortex, he ran the regression. He plugged in our brain size, and the equation spat out a number, 147.8, rounded to 150. That's the maximum number of stable, meaningful relationships the human brain can maintain at one time. Not 400, not 1,000, 150. And I thought, okay, but is it real? Or is this just a neat theory? Hunter-gatherers, Roman armies, Gore-Tex, same number. Dunbar went looking for evidence. He found it everywhere. Hunter-gatherer bands across history, average size around 150. Ancient Roman military companies, 120 to 200 soldiers. Neolithic farming villages, 150. Hutterite religious communities, they actually have a rule. When their commune exceeds 150 people, they split. Not because of resources, because after 150, you can't maintain order through relationships anymore. You need laws, bureaucracy, managers. Gore-Tex caps each factory building at 150 employees. The founder believed that above that number, people stopped knowing each other well enough to self-organize. He was right. Even modern academic sub-disciplines, the number of scientists who actively follow each other's work averages around 150. This isn't coincidence. It's the same number appearing across radically different contexts, across thousands of years, because the brain running those groups is the same brain. And here is what made it personal for me. Dunbar didn't just find one number. He found a whole architecture. Layers, 5, 15, 50, 150. And the more I looked at those layers, the more I understood exactly where my problem was. Your brain has 5 slots. I had 2. Here's the structure. At the outermost edge, about 150 people. These are the people you know. You'd stop and chat. You know their name, their face, roughly what they do. Go one layer in, about 50. People you see regularly, have shared history with. You'd catch up over coffee. One layer in from that, about 15. You're good friends. Someone dies in this group, you go to the funeral. You feel it. And then the innermost circle. 5. These are the people you call at 2 a.m., the ones who know the real version of your life, not the version you post, the ones whose crisis is automatically your crisis too. When I read this, I stopped. Because I could name people for every other layer, the 150, the 50, the 15, but the 5? I had maybe 2, and one of them lived in a different country. I kept reading because I needed to understand how the 5 circle gets empty. And the answer was both obvious and devastating. 200 hours to make a close friend, 9 minutes a day to keep one. Here's the part most people don't talk about. Friendships aren't maintained by intent, they're maintained by time. A researcher named Jeffrey Hall studied this. To go from stranger to casual friend, about 50 hours. Casual to friend, 90 hours. Friend to close friend, 200 hours or more. And here's the brutal part. Dunbar calculated that maintaining a close friendship in your inner circle requires about 9 minutes of quality contact per day. 9 minutes. Miss that for long enough, and a person doesn't leave your life dramatically, they just drift. They slide out of the inner 5 into the 15, out of the 15 into the 50. And they don't even know it happened, neither do you. Until it's 2 a.m. and you're scrolling through 437 contacts. 1.7 million users, same number every single time. So I looked at what social media actually does to this. A study analyzed 1.7 million Twitter users. No matter how many followers someone had, the number of people they actively maintained real interaction with stayed between 100 and 200. Facebook, 61 million pages analyzed, average friends, 149. The technology didn't expand human social capacity, it just made the outer layers louder. We scroll through the 150, the 500, the 1500. We leave likes, we watch stories, and our brain files this as I kept in touch. But Dunbar's research is clear. That kind of passive, one-directional contact does not build bonds. It creates a social illusion, the feeling of connection, without the chemistry of it. No endorphins, no real trust, just a feed. I want to be honest about something here. Dunbar's number has been challenged. A 2021 study from Stockholm University reanalyzed the original data and found the confidence intervals were enormous, anywhere from 2 to 520. The critics argued that 150 isn't a fixed biological law. It's a rough range, context-dependent, culturally shaped. Dunbar fired back, said the methodology was flawed. Wrong regression model. The debate is still going. But here's what I came away with. Whether the number is exactly 150 or somewhere between 100 and 200, the structure is real. The layers are real. The time cost is real. And my inner circle being nearly empty was real too. So what do you actually do with this? Here's what the science suggests. Stop trying to grow your network. Start auditing your inner circle. Who are your 5? Can you name them right now? If you can't, that is the work. Not more LinkedIn connections, not a better Instagram strategy. The work is 200 hours. It is showing up. It is saying, I'm not fine, to someone who deserves to hear it. Your brain was not designed for a global metropolis. It was designed for a village of 150. And in that village, the 5 people closest to you were not chosen by an algorithm. They were forged through time, through presence, through vulnerability. Technology can maintain your weak ties, but only you can maintain the strong ones. And the investment you make into your inner circle today is the difference between having 500 contacts at 40 and having someone who picks up the phone at 2 a.m. So I want to ask you something personal. Can you name the 5 people in your support clique right now? And when was the last time you actually invested real time in one of them? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know. If you want to see more videos like this, support us by liking and subscribing to our channel.